So this was kind of a project that our family undertook, and we really want to curate your wine tasting experience here in Yountville, not only through a really beautiful collective of 8 small family wineries, but also goods and textiles, arts that really represent what we do best here in Napa. Some of our brands are under 500 cases. Most are under 1,000. And so again, all very small family owned and operated properties. And there is something different when you make wine at a small scale. You know every barrel, you can get your arms around it, and you're just in tune. It's very intentionally done. And we think that you can taste it in the glass. I'm second generation. So my dad, Dick Steltzner, started here in Napa actually as an artist. He was a potter. He blew glass and threw pottery, had a studio on Lodi Lane, and then kind of got into vineyard work and vineyard management and vineyard development. And that led him in 1964 to purchase 30 acres in Stag's Leap. There were not grapes here. It was prunes and apples and walnuts and cows. And I think they argued over $25 an acre for about a year. So times have changed. Just a little. But he was really fortunate to find this amazing benchland property in Stag's Leap right at the base of the Palisades. And he went on to purchase more property in Stag's Leap from there. Started making wine in 1977, and that's after being a very successful grape grower from the late 60s to mid 70s. And then we grew into a 20,000 case brand. We took a step back from that in 2012. We sold part of our holdings in Stag's Leap, and just took a step back and kind of decided what we wanted to be in generation 2.0, let's say. So we're down to 1,000 cases, just under in production, between 2 brands, Steltzner Vineyards, which is my family's brand. We make Cabernet, Malbec, and Sangiovese off our estate in Stag's Leap. And Bench Vineyards, which is my interpretation of Stag's Leap, my love letter to Stag's Leap. We'll go alphabetically. That feels very diplomatic and good. Bench Vineyards, which is a project I started in 2014 with my husband. We have a Bordeaux blend, which is Cabernet, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. And it's only like 50% Cabernet. So the Malbec and Petit Verdot are 25% each, and the wine is absolutely delicious. But really, we think highlights the beauty of the fruit grown on our estate in Stag's Leap. We also make a Cabernet. Next in the lineup, let's see. Eponymous would be our next brand. Eponymous is by a winemaker named Bob Pepe. Bob's family's been here making wine, which would be their old winery. Pepe was what Cardinal is today. He's been making wine here in the valley since the 80s. Actually makes wine in 2 continents. He makes wine in Argentina also. Very accomplished winemaker, very, very good friend of ours, but also makes a gorgeous Pinot out of Anderson Valley, a white blend out of Carneros that's dry. And the label he has is called Eponymous, which is for one who cannot use one's own name, because when they sold the winery, they sold the brand Pepe also. It's such a pleasure. He works with us on our 2 projects, Bench and Steltzner. He's a co-winemaker with Mike Smith, and we just love representing his story and his history here in the valley, and thinks he makes amazing wines, especially if they're kind of price-quality ratio. Really unbelievable. The next would be Hobel. That's Bahani and Cameron Hobel. And they came to Napa, I think Cameron came here in 1989 with part of winebid.com. Very young, was very accomplished as an auctioneer for Christie's Wine Auction House. Married the very talented Bahani, who is now in wine law at DPF, a local law firm here. And at the time, they befriended Thomas Rivers Brown, who was an assistant winemaker at Turley at the time. And he and Cameron really became friends because they both loved wine. And so fast forward 10 years, and it was time for Cameron and Bahani. They wanted to do a project, and their friend Thomas was the only person they thought they'd want to do the project. And so they do 3 single vineyard Cabernets. So again, unbelievably small quantities, under 500 cases total between all 3 wines. I think Cameron and Bahani's love of wine, they have a very clear vision, and Thomas helps them get there. So they're just gorgeous wines to work with. The next brand would be Lindstrom, which actually are neighbors in Stag's Leap. They have a small 5-acre vineyard on the hill right above our old property. 5 separate little blocks, just under 5 acres. Mike Wolf does the farming on that, and Celia Welch makes the wines. A really cool project. So they do Cabernet off their estate there, and then they also make a Pinot Noir from Dutton Ranch and Russian River, and it's Celia's only Pinot. Next would be Myriad, and Myriad is Mike Smith, his personal project. Mike Smith is also the winemaker on Bench and Steltzner. Mike is self-taught, and Mike moved to Napa, slept on Thomas River Brown's couch, and said, let me learn how to make wine for free. And so this is what I'm talking about, that kind of level of intention, that passion. I mean, I don't know how much more passionate you can get than I'll sleep on your couch and work for free. Mike went on with the Thomas to be the assistant winemaker at Schrader. And then Mike took over the winemaking at Carter Cellars in 2010. And then Mike started his own personal brand called Myriad. And so Mike actually makes a single vineyard, Steltzner Vineyard wine from our vineyard under his Myriad label. Moving on from there, we have the Steltzner Vineyards wines, which is, a label that my dad started in 1977 because he couldn't sell all his grapes, and has kind of been many different sizes, but now we're just under 500 cases. I call it a unicorn wine, one of the only Sangivesses, pure Sangivesses left in Stag's Leap District. We make 100 cases. It's absolutely delicious. Nice. I think that's something we'll always do.
Good.
Because I think you gotta have something a little bit different. And then we make a beautiful Cabernet also. And then we have Switchback Ridge, which is a fascinating story. That's the Peterson family. They have been, if you know the Three Palms Vineyard on your way up towards Calistoga on the east side of the valley, that is, if you look directly east, that's the entrance to Dutch Henry Canyon.
Sure.
And right at the base there's 23 acres. That's been in the Peterson family for over 105 years. There are 3 acres there from, I want to say they're probably 65-year-old head-trained Petite Syrah vines. So they make Petite Syrah from their old vines, Petite Syrah, Merlot, and then Cabernet Sauvignon. The brand Switchback Ridge was started by Kelly Peterson, who's 5th generation, in 1999. Bob Foley was their winemaker, and Kelly's son has just come on board and started actually making wine with Mike Smith. And so they've just moved the production over to kind of the next generation under Mike's guidance. And then last but not least is Zeitgeist Cellars, which Zeitgeist is a word in German that means like the mood of the time or the spirit of the times. And this is a really interesting story because they are husband and wife, and they are both winemakers. So it's Mark and Jen Brewski. Mark works with an Anomaly. He has a couple other small clients. And then Jennifer came on board Spotswood would be kind of one of her more well-known posts. And then after she left Spotswood, she went to Arrow and Branch and then Paul Meyer. So they have daytime jobs as winemakers, but they make wine together on Zeitgeist. And so they make a old vine Truchot Gris, a Chenin Blanc, and then a Cabernet Sauvignon. So you're going to come here and touch things that are really small production that have amazing history and pedigree to them. I love this community. We're part of a community. All these brands, we are friends, we know each other, and we all want to kind of see all of this keep going forward. And so that's why you work together and try to lift each other up.